So, hi, hello Sanjukta,
Hi.
and
Yeah.
welcome to this session.
Huh.
Thank you that
Yeah.
you could spend some time for our participants. And because from the last two webinars, what we found is that they are having a lot of doubts on the topic, how to choose the topic, and they are still not clear what exactly they have to choose, what is the problem which they have to choose. So I
Hmm.
think it will be very good for them to helpful for them to choose a particular topic after hearing your suggestions, and your experience definitely matters a lot. So it may be very helpful for them. So
Hmm.
I welcome you. And as I think I see that people are slowly joining.
Yeah.
So we can start, and people can start joining. And we have also done the YouTube live also. So there are some people who are watching from there also. So I think we can start. So I first invite Sai Sudha, our senior project manager, to introduce you and welcome you to this session. So Sai Sudha, thank you for agreeing to welcome Sanchita. So please go ahead.
Beh, ihala takha to sab kira
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Sai Sudha, are you speaking? Your video
Okay.
is.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sai Sudha, we are not able to hear you properly.
To do
Is
this
it the same
workshop
for you
for
also,
us.
Sanjukta?
Yeah.
Am I visible? Audible?
No, your audio is
Is it
getting.
better now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
now it's fine. Yeah.
Better.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much, Sanjukta, for agreeing to be part of today's webinar and give your insights on how to choose the topic. And, for all the participants here, Dr. Sanjukta has over 23 years of experience in academia, industry, and in a lot of CSR activities. She's extremely passionate about design-led innovation. And in fact, she was a part of all the brainstorming sessions where we finalized this topic. So there's no better person than her in explaining how you can choose a particular topic that will align with the theme that has been given for Animate 2024. So over to you, Sanjukta. Thank you so much once again. And thanks to all the participants for being with us on a Friday evening. The recorded version of this webinar will be available on YouTube. So if your friends have missed out this session, they can please encourage them to go and watch it online. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you, Sai Sudha. Thank you, Usha, for kind of giving this opportunity for being part of your event. And as Sai Sudha mentioned, that today we will start with how to select your topic. And as Usha was also mentioning, that there was discussion around going on that how one can select a topic for to create their own stories and develop their own small animation video. So before we move forward, I'll just try to mention that as part of this session, I have identified Sustainable Development Goal, which has been set by United Nations, and which covers mostly all the areas of social innovation. We are focusing on social innovation for today's talk, but it is not limited to that. Means you are free to choose topic of your own, but this is just a guideline that we are trying to give you, that these are the areas which can be also considered for by you all to select your topic for this particular event. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Yeah, so Is my screen visible?
Yes, Sanjita.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so as we discussed that we are for today's session, we'll predominantly focus on social innovation for the better world, for better future, for a sustainable future, and things like that. So in order to start with, we are for this session, I thought to start with the basic understanding of the 17 goals which are been identified as United Nations and adopted by 193 countries. How many of you have heard about Sustainable Development Goal in those who are present here? Anyone?
I think the participants can unmute and talk also, or you can even
Yeah,
type
raise
on the
your
chat
hand.
box.
Yes, yes. Just to get an idea about if you have heard about the goals. Okay. So as I said that these are
Sanjita, only one suggestion, you can actually put it on the presentation mode so that the text will be visible.
oh, okay, just a second.
Slideshow.
Okay, yeah.
Animations, after that there is slideshow.
Yes,
You can
yes.
do the slideshow. In the top menu, you have slideshow after animations. Click on that, I think slideshow. After there is home, insert, draw, design, then slideshow is there.
Yes, yes. I'll just put it in slideshow.
Yes, yes.
Is this clear now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So as mentioned that this sustainable development goals, there are 17 goals which or it can be also considered as call to action for certain better future. Mainly it touches on poverty, inequality in all respect, which covers economic inequality, gender inequality predominantly. Protect the planet means for better, greener and healthier planet, and ensure that all people enjoy health, justice and prosperity. So the goals are been fixed by United Nations and adopted by 193 countries in 2015. So generally, it covers sustainability in the area of economic development, environmental accounting or better environmental equity and social equity. So, so the overall objective for this 17 goals are to create a better world, better life for all by 2030. So therefore, this becomes important for any one of you think of in the field of social innovation, which can lead towards public good, which can lead towards better society, which can lead to human development and things like that. This any one of the goal or the goals in combination can be considered as a relevant topic for this event, for this hackathon. So as we move forward, we would just, as I said, the topics related to any one goal or combination can be considered as relevant topic. So you see that all the 17 goals mentioned here, and we will just try to expand a little more on the goals. So the first goal talks about end of poverty in all forms and everywhere throughout the world. Predominantly, we are focusing on our nation development. So therefore, it's good to focus on our various corners of in our country that where There is a nutrition deficit which is being visible, significantly visible among children or women or even the population at large. How to eradicate all forms of extreme poverty and which includes lack of food and clean drinking water, which is a major challenge in many parts of the country now. People are not getting access to clean water. So this becomes the first goal for SDG as per UN. The second goal is end hunger, which talks about food security and nutrition improvement. Means there is a need for nutrition improvement across the population throughout the world, and which is significantly visible in our country. So in order to achieve this, it is important to promote sustainable agriculture. So agriculture scope of development in the field of agriculture, stories around farmlands, farming challenges, various topics associated to farmers, various challenges to grow crops can become a very important topic under this umbrella. So a small stories can come up in terms of in relation to farming or even nutritional benefit of certain foods. Some kind of traditionally grown crops can be popularized through your stories. So this is what the second SDG is all about. Now we move to the third, which talks about ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So it's important to create a healthy, more and more healthier and happier population across all ages, which is starting from child to elderly care needs to be taken care of. So this means a lot. So therefore, lot of stories can evolve around healthy living, happy living, well-being in terms of mental and physical well-being. For example, things like stories associated to sports, stories associated to various kinds of traditional practices which leads to a healthy life can become a relevant topic or story under this umbrella. So the fourth one is which ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So now as we see, as even various initiatives are being taken to reach out to the population at grassroots level to provide quality education, means to provide various kinds of tools, techniques, skill sets across the community and reach out to as much grassroots level as possible to ensure that there is an equitable quality education being distributed across the population to empower the population and lead to a better world. So again, you can think of something in the field of education, in the field of challenges associated to going to schools or some kind of other stories from your schools, from your learning experience, from that you feel that you are not getting enough or getting something which you want to tell as a story. So education, quality education is a very, very important. Inclusive and quality education is a very important area under this sustainable development goal. Next is achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So as we move forward, we are seeing a lot of women in workforce. There is a significant amount of development happening, but I think a lot need to happen, especially in terms of women's security in rural India has a huge space, a challenged area where a lot of work need to be done. Many of you can agree to the fact. Therefore, think of something which can come from your observation around, your experience around, which can be drafted or crafted as a story. So now, as we move to the next goal, which talks about ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So as we see that there is some amount of work happening, but lot need to happen in the area of water management, in the area of resource optimization, in terms of water majorly, when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to various other factors, water management, irrigation, water management becomes very important area to be considered in terms of resources. It's also important that sanitation and health and hygiene needs to be taken care. And as we mentioned before, in association with food security, it is also important that availability of drinking water is something which is still a challenge, and it needs to be addressed for a better future, better world. So, and we'll take up a case study later related to challenges associated to drinking water contamination. So, so this is something which, if you are facing issues around water problem, suppose now we are due to extreme heat, many regions are suffering from efficient water management strategy, or not getting water in properly, not getting enough water, getting contaminated water, the waters are highly polluted and things like that. Think of stories in that line as well. And then how to access means ensure affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. So as we are here, right, we are having a webinar over here, which is predominantly technology driven. So without proper energy support in terms of electrical energy, as we are considering here for now, we would not be able to connect to our laptop or mobile. We would not be able to charge our mobile to get connected to webinars. Now, with this energy, we are being able to reach out to, even if you are sitting in rural part of the country, you are being able to reach out and hear us, and all of us came together and discussing around certain topics together because of a certain amount of energy available to all of us. So, so it's important, but many regions of the country is energy deprived. A lot of energy is being misused in certain regions as well. Therefore, it is important that how do we understand that where to harness, how to harness energy and disseminate energy in the right way. So so it becomes very important that you understand the stories, you understand the experiences which you see in and around various in your region, and understand that how can you think of how do we think of energy in a way, for example, not misusing energy. You can think of a story of just switching off lights and fans in the right time. So that conserves a lot of energy, and that also allows a significant amount of population to access to that energy which they are deprived of. So think of a story that how can you build a story on just switching off fans and lights in right time, and come up with an interesting, impactful stories to sensitize people. So now we move to our next. Before we move, I would just like to get some questions. If you have anything to mention, or no questions, right?
Participants, anything, if you are having some issue with selecting the topic and all, she is the best person to guide you in these things. So please make use of the opportunity. If you have any questions, do let us know.
Yeah. So we move forward. So we'll move to our 8th goal, which is promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, productive employment, and decent work for all. So this is talking about livelihood. This is talking about employment opportunity and economic growth. So think of something which touches upon livelihood and which creates a decent work, or even think of a livelihood which is not, which has a lot of stress, which has a lot of challenges, which needs to be improved. For example, various craft sector is suffering from various kinds of challenge. We need to promote handicraft, but at the same time the artisans are facing through a lot of challenges. Now that is a workforce. They also have a set of knowledge which needs to be valued, and should get enough of economic stability through that knowledge. They should get enough economic stability through that knowledge. And how do we ensure, or how do we see that what kind of value it can bring? So in order to think from that perspective, you can also consider that what are various artisanal practices, if you see in and around in your places, how that can become a potential employment opportunity for the person who is part of it, and they value and get into a better um, economic growth. How do we move towards that? So is there any story around that? Is there any story around the challenges of their livelihood, which needs to be highlighted, which can be expressed, and things like that? So that becomes, when a story like that comes up, this also touches upon that many things are not being taken care of and needs to be addressed. So think of something like that. Build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. So as we are all heading towards urbanization, we are heading towards modernization, we have passed a long journey of industrialization, and we have seen various challenges and opportunities around that. Now, how do we move forward with sustainable industrialization? Means an industrialization which can take care of human factors, human values, and maintain certain ethics, and also take care of planet at large. So if, for example, if you are, if yes. You want to say something? Anyone want to say something?
ये रुकना
Sorry? Okay. So when we talk about resilient infrastructure, it becomes important for us to understand that even an urban infrastructure or a rural infrastructure, how resilient is that infrastructure in order to take care of your day-to-day life? Means it maintains, it provides you a certain quality of life. So if not, if you have challenges in your day-to-day life, if you have challenges in your commuting from school to home, or from your college or educational institute to home, if you are facing problem around basic security in your region, that will fall under this category. So think of, means if you have any story to share, you can think of those topics. So then again, reduce inequality within and among the countries. So this is one of the development goal which takes care of inequality within the country, within and among various countries. It's little policy, it's little theoretical, but for example, if I give an example under this, say if you are certain kind of urban facilities are being provided in rural region, or if you are aspiring for some urban facilities in rural region, then how do you take care of it? Or what are your aspirations? For example, suppose we are the kind of food choices, the kind of food varieties is available in metro city might not be available in rural part of India. So if someone is thinking that is as a point of deprivation or a point of inequality within the region, then think of something that, imagine a story that if that facility can be brought in a rural context, if, or think of something which you are not getting enough in rural, but urban population has that, therefore someone is getting attracted towards urbanization. So something like that can also be thought under this, that some stories which gives a better life, which is generally available in certain region and not available in another region, can also be considered as inequality within countries. So now, as we move forward, which talks about cities, which make cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, and resilient, which is also similar to the city infrastructure, or safer infrastructure or resilient infrastructure we were talking about in our previous goals. These are similar, similar kind of goals, which has a lot of commonalities, but can be considered as a separate entity because it talks specifically about human settlement. Human settlement in an inclusive, safe, resilient environment. Now, 12th topic, which is very, very important now, as we move towards consumption and production pattern. In our country, both production and consumption is significantly high. And we are moving more towards irresponsible consumption pattern or consumption behavior. And it becomes important that how do we make us aware of how do we reduce production? How, suppose if you if you produce more and more of certain products which is not needed, is not considered as a sustainable model. So which can lead to various other factors, which can lead to, for example, nowadays, if we consider, how many of you here are uses gadget very mindlessly? Means you have lot of device and things like that. You buy mobile phone very frequently and all those things. Or attracted towards gadget. You might not be buying frequently, but attracted towards gadgets. Is there anyone? Please feel free to respond. There is no harm even if you are attracted to.
I think probably they are all excited that weekend is happening, so they are all in party mood. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So anyway, so now as we are moving more towards gadgets, more towards fast fashion, we are not happy with less. We want more and more. We are getting attracted to various kinds of advertisement. We are attracted to various kinds of social media messages, and we are getting into more and more consumption. And on the other hand, as we are moving to more consumption, the manufacturers are also taking the advantage of it, and they are producing more. And which also holds true for our craft sector as well. Means craft community, artisanal communities, they are also overloaded with the kind of inventory, because they are producing more and more just for their basic needs. So it is important now to understand that how do we or think of stories around how can we become responsible consumer, how can we reduce our consumption, how can we think of sustainable production, and things like that. So again, which is related to the 13th point, that if we get into that, if we manage to control production, if we manage to control our consumption, then we can take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact on regulation, emissions, and promote emissions and other things. Along with that, we need to also come up with alternate energy, renewable energy sources, which can promote development through alternate energy. So now next we move to marine life. And means as we are seeing global warming, we are seeing climate change, we are being deeply impacted by the current heated environment, the kind of heat we are now kind of encountering, and we are trying to manage with this kind of climate. We can directly see the impact of climate change, very closely see the impact of climate change. On the other hand, when we go to marine life, it's also majorly disrupted. So there a lot of conservation and sustainable action needs to be taken to maintain oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. So the current effort to protect oceans, marine environments, and small-scale fishes are not meeting the need to protect the resources. So this is something which you might not think of a story, but you can think of what can be the life of a fish, or what can be the life of various sea animals, right? What kind of, if you have seen a lot of animated videos or films, or you see the way the life of marine life is being highlighted, and the kind of suffering they can go through if we are not taking care of or not taking enough measures. On the other hand, even it is important to protect the terrestrial ecosystem, to restore and promote uh, sustainable climate, and manage forest, combat desertification, halt and reserve land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. We are significantly seeing that there are the birds which we used to see before is not being seen now. So those kind of terrestrial disruption in terrestrial ecosystem is also are also alarming. So you can think of stories around those birds which were visible, which were being seen, which people used to sight few years back, are not being able to see anymore. So stories around birds, stories around terrestrial animals, stories around various kinds of floras, various kinds of fruits, various kinds of vegetables, which are slowly getting extinct. So think of those stories, think of those ideas. So now, again, how do we promote a peaceful, inclusive society for sustainable development, which provide justice, which provides access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels? So as we talk about security in urban space, we talk about security in rural places, extremely remote regions where many women are not secured enough. So how do we provide justice to them? How do we come up with a much more peaceful and inclusive society? So think of those stories, think of those challenges. What can be, if you have challenges, you will have opportunity to work. So think of what are various societal challenges which you might have encountered or you might have heard about. Think of stories around that. So this is something which is basically a collaborative model, which talks about strengthening the means of implementation, which you cannot directly connect with a story, but this is the final goal, which talks about strengthening the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development, increasing international cooperation, which is seen as vital to achieving each of the 16 previous goals. Developing multi-stakeholders, where you collaborate with multiple partners to facilitate knowledge exchange, expertise, technology, and financial resources to recognize critical, which is recognized critical to overall success of SDGs. So these are all 17 SDGs. I just wanted to mention it upfront, as mentioned by UN. So any questions? Okay. So we'll quickly move to now how, as we talk about SDGs, now how do we relate this? How do we relate this? How do we create our own topic, right? So keeping SDGs in mind, so that becomes an input. Now we think of lived experience, right? The stories can evolve from your lived experience. Suppose you have lived a life which you can connect to better, again, which can come up with, which can be associated to not getting access to water or other challenges maybe. which you feel is very close to your heart, or you can connect better. Your understanding through others' experiences, if you have observed others' experiences, which can become a very, very important topic to be addressed. And as we said that, try to connect your topic with your experience, your story with SDGs, because that can create a better impact. So your observation from the challenges in the society, means the day-to-day challenges which you have seen in the society, which you can closely connect to, think of stories around that and try to connect. Yes.
So there is a question in the chat box.
Okay.
How about the deforestation that happens in our country?
Yes.
Is this a good topic for the Animate Hackathon?
Yes, yes. It can be a very good topic for Animate. You just build a story around the trees are falling down, farmers or forest people are cutting trees, or other people are doing a lot of poaching activity in the forest and things like that. Yes.
And I have to add also, so if there is something someone has done to cope up with this kind of deforestation, that also
Yes.
can be a very good,
Stories to share.
yeah, will make a very good story,
Mm,
a complete story rather.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is a very important point. Because you also think of certain success stories, right? Where people have managed to overcome certain challenges. The story which I'll share now is a success story which everyone would like to celebrate, and also it's also sharing, and at the same time it can influence others, it can motivate others and things like that. Yeah. So now, as we mentioned, right, as we mentioned about experiences where we had highlighted. So now how can we make a journey map? How can we make a journey map from those experience? When someone who want to show their experience in form of journey. For example, suppose if I take deforestation as a story, then what is the journey of that tree? If you want to say that journey map can be from a tree's perspective. Tree become the central point of your story, and the journey of that tree can be drafted as in form of a journey map, in form of uh, their journey as a tree, from the way they were being grown and the way they were taking care of sheltering many people, and now they are being cut. So if you tell the story of the tree from their perspective, their experience, their journey, this is called journey mapping. How do we map? So journey mapping facilitates a process for understanding various challenges and opportunities through people's. It might not be people's experience. It can be from anyone's perspective. So generally, it has been considered as people's experience in a particular scenario. But when we talk about animation, sometimes we give life to inanimate objects, right? So in that case, give life to that tree, or give life to that product, or whatever you want to highlight. From that perspective, you can create a journey of that product, or people, or a plant, or bird, or whatever you want to bring as a central character for your story. So people share their perspectives and map, and the map is composed of their experience. So how a journey map is created, basically, when you are talking about a particular topic, right? So various people will share experiences. You can talk to various people to gather experiences around that topic. And then you see, and then people will share their experience from their perspective. Now you as a storyteller, or when you map the journey, then you put all those stories, all those experiences together, and compose and create and compose those experiences in a certain form, which will help you to get into your storytelling mode. Finally, you come up with your own story. So, for example, once you get all the experiences, then you come up with your narrative journey. So your narrative journey is crafted by facilitating better understanding of people's lived experience. A lot of people can share their lived experience, their experience. You are observing people's experience, you're observing challenges, you're observing opportunities, and you are bringing everything together. And now you are drafting your narrative. You're drafting your narrative, your narration, and for understanding and understand people's experience better, to understand people's experience better. So, and which can have layers of information. When you are drafting a journey, it can have layers of information. There can be hidden information, which can be, when you are closely observing an experience, those hidden information can be added to on a complete map to get a better understanding of the experience in a particular scenario. Now, once everything, all your information, data, and everything is processed, then you create a map like this. Okay. Now, this journey map has major sections. One is scenario. You think of a scenario. You think of your goals and expectations. What do you want to achieve by explaining your journey? So in order to do that, you can divide this entire mapping into 3 phases. One is zone A, which is the lens, means you generally, as we say, that who is the main character, who is the actor of your story, becomes your actor. It can be the tree as an actor, it can be a person as an actor, it can be water as an actor. So identify the actor and also identify a scenario. Now, if we move to the example, see, here is a story, here is a scenario or a case study. A boy in rural India found out that his mother had become severely ill due to contaminated water consumption. This experience made him feel and understand major health challenges associated to contaminated water in that region. He embarked on a journey of discovery that may save many thousands of lives and relieve their suffering. He developed simple water testing device, cloud-based data storage system, and machine learning algorithms to alert people in neighborhoods and villages that the water they depend on may sicken them. So this is a scenario, and there is an intervention. There is an action taken based on that scenario. Now, so who has taken the action? Who is the hero of the story? The boy, right? The actor of the story is the boy. Now, what is the scenario which made him to take certain actions? So, mother falling sick due to consumption of contaminated water. So this become your scenario. So your zone A is sorted, right? So you got a clarity of your zone A. What is the lens? That is the lens of your entire journey, the beginning of your journey with a scenario and an actor. Then you move to your zone B. Your zone B is the experience, right? The experience which needs to be drafted. So boy's experience or journey through his mother's severe illness. So the entire experience for the boy has evolved or revolved around mother's illness related to contaminated water. So what actions, thoughts, and emotions he felt for the community in that region and started thinking to address the problem at a bigger level, right? And provide safe water for the community at large. So you see, the problem came from his experience, but he tried to address it at a community level. So your own experience can be your experience, which you have encountered. You can validate it by talking to some more people to see that others are also experiencing the same. Then you develop your own story by combination of your experience and others' experience put together and create a detailed journey of experience. So then what is zone C? The insights. So what are the opportunities in this problem? So the opportunity are, there is a set of population who got affected. So you have a population base who got affected. Therefore, they needs to be addressed. So if they need to be addressed, if there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. So there is a scope to work for them. So availability and which helped them to execute, what helped him to execute? Availability of technology to address the problem. He was aware and the technology was also available to him. So he used technology to address the problem. And also another thing is empower local human resource affected by this condition. So there is a significant amount of population who is affected by this condition. Therefore, in order to build a system, you need human resource, right? So he got a human resource in place who are being affected by the problem. Therefore, they are willing to work with him to address the problem. Sometimes you don't always have money for human resource, but if the problem can be addressed, many people will come together to work for a problem. So that is another important opportunity area that the local community got empowered to address because they are equally affected by the condition. So now this is how a journey map can be, as I said. Once your journey map focuses on users' goal, emotions, pain points, and opportunities along their journey and experiences. So once this is drafted, then you move to, and your topic has been identified because your topic and your experience go in parallel and identified. Then you bring your narration. Then the narration needs to be crafted through your storyboard. So you create storyboard, you develop your storyboard, you create your narrative flow through storyboard, which becomes the base. So as this is an animation, you are all expected to come up with an animated video. So storyboard illustrations, which has actions, thoughts, feelings, and context in sequence of scenes. This is the fundamental framework for an animated video, right? So once you are identifying your topic through your experiences and also touching upon sustainable development for this as an example, then you are in a position, you are now equipped enough to develop your own storyboard and then come up with your animated video. Yeah, so this is all about today's session. Thank you. And I would like to have some questions.
Thank you, Sanjukta, for a wonderful, wonderful presentation. It was so insightful and extremely interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudha. Yeah. Thank you, Usha. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was very informative, and I wanted more people to participate and hear it. But definitely, we are planning to publish it on our webpage so that students whoever come and visit our webpage will be able to get benefit from your video. But it was extremely useful. At least for me, a lot of things got cleared. Now, even I am thinking I can also participate.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful presentation, and thank you very much for this presentation. Sai Sudha, please go ahead.
Yeah. So also, Sanjukta, we have a large number of participations through our community radio network partners.
Yes.
So, from across the country, there is participation thanks to the extensive network that community radio stations have. Any particular information that you want to give for them, considering that community radios also produce a lot of in-house programs and broadcast their own success stories and things like that. Is there scope for them to present those stories as animation videos?
Yes, definitely. Because as we started discussing, if you have seen when we talk about sustainable development goal, it's all about community development. So any stories, even success stories success stories are even more important to be heard, because and in more detail, right? Means and I would like to as I mentioned, that we are focusing on lived experience, right? So when we reach out to community, when they can share their own lived experience through the success stories, that can create even more impact. So stories like that can be focused on, or people who are in the community network system, if they can disseminate that or encourage people to share their own stories, share their own lived experience, share their journeys of success through certain kind of challenges they have gone through, that adds a lot of value to the entire innovation ecosystem at large.
Yeah, thanks, Anju. Yeah, in fact, we have a participant here, Urmila. I mean, I remember her particularly because I spoke to her this morning. She's from one of the community radio stations in Maharashtra. Urmila, are you there?
हाँ
जी आप रेडियो स्टेशन में काम कर रही है अभी, उधर कुछ स्टोरीज है, आपको आप कौन सा थीम चूज किया है उसके बारे में थोड़ा बता सकते हैं हमें?
हेलो
जी हेलो।
हाँ मैम।
हाँ बोलिए। हाँ
आप कौन से रेडियो स्टेशन में काम कर रही हो?
वो सुंदर भाई
हाँ, वो कहाँ है?
वीपी कॉलेज के आगे।
मतलब कौन से डिस्ट्रिक्ट में?
बारामती।
बारामती।
हाँ
बारामती रीजन में कुछ स्टोरीज जो भी मैडम बोल रही है, उसके बाद उस रीजन के स्टोरीज कुछ है जो आप एनिमेट कर सकते हो?
हाँ
हमारे पास शेयर कर सकते हो, क्या है?
मैंने बनाई नहीं है।
अच्छा, ठीक है,
हाँ
ठीक है। बट आपके रेडियो स्टेशन में वो कवर करते हैं ना, आप जो भी अच्छा हो रहा है उसके बारे में आप कवर करते हैं ना?
मतलब
ओके
हाँ
ओके, श्योर। ओके उर्मिला, थैंक यू।
हाँ थैंक
Yeah, thank you, Urmila.
Yeah, so I mean, I know a lot of radio stations which have their
Yes, they are really doing a
stories.
good job. Yes, yes. But
Yeah, yeah.
that it is,
So,
I think it is important for us now to kind of reach out and see, and this is a wonderful opportunity for all of them to tell their own stories through this forum. So it's a very great initiative that your team has taken.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the support that you have extended for this initiative.
Yeah.
Usha, you want to add something?
Yeah, of course. Hope students will take a look at the webinar and may get back to us, because what I expect is that it should be for example, I wanted to just mention that we actually received a submission through an email, and they were not actually taking any story or something. They were just telling that India has innovated a lot of things, so we have to upload. So that kind of video we don't want, because that we will not be able to even consider it for the final awards and all. So I was expecting more students to participate, but probably I think they may watch we even will send a mail regarding that this is published on the web page. So probably they may take a look, and actually they can produce more meaningful or relevant submissions. So it was a very nice presentation, and we really enjoyed whatever you have told, and we could understand a lot of things also from this webinar. So thank you, Sanjukta. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much.
Very informative.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very nice experience for me as well. Thank you.
Thanks. So I think we can wrap up the meeting. So thank you all for joining. And we really expect your submissions as early as possible. And for your information, we will be sending the submission guidelines and the how to submit all those information on the registered email ID. And the same is also published on the webpage. So you can just take a look at it. And also expect a mail from us by tomorrow. So do keep tuned and do join us for the next webinars. Okay, thank you all, and thank you, Sanjukta.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.